President Trump says China understands the risks of an attack on Taiwan. Watch.
Would you order U.S. forces to defend Taiwan?
You'll find out if it happens. And he understands the answer to that.
Why not say
This
it?
never even came up yesterday as a subject. He never brought it up. People were a little surprised at that. He never brought it up because he understands it, and he understands it very well.
Why not communicate that publicly to the rest of us? What does he understand?
I don't want to give away. I can't give away my secrets. I don't want to be one of these guys that tells you exactly what's going to happen. If they understand what's going to happen, and he has openly said, and his people have openly said at meetings, we would never do anything while President Trump is president, because they know the consequences.
Former Pentagon official, top guy over there, Brent Sadler, joins me now. What do you make of all these statements around Taiwan? Do you think the Taiwan place is kind of safe for the remainder of Trump's presidency?
Well, certainly, I think the Chinese understand clearly that President Trump is a leader of action. And I think that's exactly what they need to see and hear if we're going to try to avoid a war this decade. The tensions are very real. The intent by the Chinese Communist Party is very sharp, and they have put money and resources for many years to be ready to go to war this decade to settle the dispute with Taiwan. And so signaling strength is important. And I think any kind of explicit statement is unnecessary. The Chinese understand by what they can see in very real terms how the United States would, and also how our national interests are affected in driving us into a war should they choose to try to settle that dispute through the force of arms.
Well, the U.S. and China, they also agreed to open a direct military hotline. What would that be used for?
Well, I'm not very optimistic. I've been a part of those in the past in the military, and it's always been perceived that the United States wanted it more than the Chinese, and the Chinese would offer it as a gift so that we would give some concessions. It doesn't appear that we've given any, but I think the Chinese think that by doing this, they might be offering us something of very low value. We get very little out of these hotlines. When things go sideways, so to speak, there's an ambassador in Beijing with a direct link to the president. That's the channel that when things really go bad, that's how they'll get solved.
Okay, next one for you. The War Department launched its 15th strike against narco-trafficking ships. It sounds like President Trump isn't even close to ending that mission. Listen to this.
Is it about stopping narcotics, or is this about getting rid of President Maduro?
This is a country that allowed their prisons to be emptied into our country. To me, that would be almost number one, because we have other countries. Look, Mexico has been very bad to us in terms of drugs, okay? Very bad.
Are Maduro's days as president numbered?
I would say, yeah. I think so, yeah.
And this issue of potential land strikes in Venezuela, is that true?
I don't tell you that. I mean, I'm not saying it's true or untrue, but I wouldn't.
Why would we do it?
I wouldn't be inclined to say that I would do that, but because I don't talk to a reporter about whether or not I'm going to strike.
That's for sure. Brent, let me go back to the blowing up these narco ships or suspected drug smuggling ships. Yeah. We must have some very good intelligence. We're not just blasting any boat out of the water. We've got to know in advance that these guys are carrying drugs, right? We've got good intelligence.
No, absolutely. The fact that you're seeing these videos and it's pretty clear what they are, they're not fishing boats out on a weekend excursion going fishing. Our forces and a network of allies and partners in the region working through the auspices of the Joint Interagency Task Force South based in Key West have been hunting these narco-terrorists and their smugglers for many decades, going all the way back to the late 80s. So we know who they are. We know what the boats they're using. So with high confidence that we're getting the right people in these attacks. And I think it hits the cartels where they're weakest. They need to move product to market. And that market's the United States and Europe, mind you. But they're weakest in the international waterways. And so these hits, it's going to take a little while to dent their business model. But make no mistake, this will bankrupt their business model, and it will start to force them to turn inward on themselves.
Ooh, fascinating. Brent Sadler, always great. Thanks for joining us, Brent. We appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Thank you.